today's lesson is 8.7, factoring trinomials. This time of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Make sure you write this down. Make sure that you write that down. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, did you write down ax squared plus bx plus c?
Yep.
Good. Because it's from there that we're going to take this a little further, okay? Because everything that we did last time, we're going to make go off of a little bit more here, all right? And then from there, we're going to add a new system of factoring this. Patrick?
Can you get those ones?
Yeah. No problem. All right. Now, the next slide is a very step-by-step process. Okay? I want you to write these down, and to be quite honest, they're probably going to make no sense right now. Okay? But I want you to have them, that way when I tell you to go back and look at them, you have them. All right? That way you know what they are. Okay? There's not really a fancy name for this type of factoring. This is not in your book at all. Remember, this is the second section that I said don't look in your book for help with, because I'm better than your book. Not to be conceited or nothing, but I am. This is the way I do this. This is the way I was taught how to do this in college. And I think it makes way more sense than what your book does. Okay? My professor called it bottoms up.
Okay.
All right? It'll make sense as to why. All right? Step 1. Multiply A and C. Where does A and C come from?
The A in front of the x
Good.
squared and the c in the back.
Good. The A in front of the x squared, the C in the back. Your multiply number is actually, in actuality, this holds true for all of them. Your multiply number is the product of A and C, the first number and the last number. It didn't matter last time because that first number was always what?
1.
1. So I didn't even talk about it. But your multiply number in actuality is the multiplication of A and C. This product is considered your multiply number. B is still your add number. Okay? B is still your add number. Step 2, you still go through the same process of figuring out which two pairs of numbers multiply to your multiply number and add to your add number. Typo, yes, I see it now, thanks. Okay? You figure out what two numbers multiply to your multiply number, add to your add number. Okay? Just like we always did. Step 3, you put them in binomials, just like we did last time. Okay? So at step 3, you're going to have x plus a number, x minus a number, whatever the case may be. Okay? And that's exactly the same steps as last time. And from there, I always said just FOIL it and check, right? The crowd says yes. This is where this changes. Okay? And this is where the bottoms up comes in. Your next step, and this is where this gets confusing, so you may have to just tag along for a little bit and check it out, okay? Step 4, you're going to divide those numbers that you put into the binomials. Okay, visualize it, everybody see where I'm at? Okay, you're going to divide those by the number that was in front of your original, by A. Okay, you're going to divide it by A. Just put it the division, put the number there, make it a fraction. You're then going to go reduce those fractions. Okay, so 2/8 becomes 1/4. 6/10 becomes 3/5, stuff like that. Okay. Step 6, second to last step. Move the denominator of that fraction to the coefficient of x in each binomial. Move the denominator to the coefficient of x in each binomial. At that point, you should be able to FOIL it and check it. Okay. Number 1. 2x squared plus 5x plus 3. Multiply number, add number. Remember what changes. Your multiply number comes from the product of A and C. So multiply 2 and 3 to give you this, which gives you 6. Your add number is always what's in the middle, which is in this case is 5. So there's step 1 done. Okay? What's step 2 say?
One pair of numbers that
Okay.
equal to
Oh, false. All right, so we already did step 2. My bad. Or no, we don't. Never mind. I'm losing it. I haven't had a coffee yet. What two numbers multiply to 6 and add to 5? 2 and 3, right? 2 times 3 is 6. 2 plus 3 is 5. Step 2 done. Step 3.
put numbers into binomials.
Numbers in binomials. So x plus 2. Oops. X plus 3. Okay. And here's why this, and obviously this doesn't FOIL back to what we originally had, right? See that? X times x is just x squared, not 2x squared. So this is where the bottoms up comes into play, because we have to finagle this in such a way to make it FOIL back into this. Okay? And here's how we make this work. You take A, which is what?
6 or 5?
No. A.
Oh, 2.
2. A is the first number. Okay? You take 2 and you put it underneath each of these. You essentially make it x plus, 2 halves, x plus 3 halves. Just out of the blue. Okay? Your next step is what? Reduce. 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 Okay? So x plus 2 over 2 becomes x plus 1. Okay? X plus, does 3 halves reduce? It does? No. 3 halves doesn't reduce. And that can happen. Reduce. No, we don't do mixed numbers. We don't do mixed numbers. Okay? So sometimes they'll reduce, sometimes they won't, okay? So you kind of have to just go with it. Okay? It just happens how it happens, all right? After you reduce, what do you do next?
I'll move the denominator to the coefficient of x in each binomial.
Good. So what's the denominator of x plus 1 right here? 1. So you move the 1 up in front of x. Does it change this guy?
No.
No. So the left one stays x plus 1. Okay. The right one, this is where it comes in. Okay. You move the denominator up to the coefficient. You bring the bottom up. See what Mr. Nagrosky did for me all those years ago. All right, yeah, he was a crazy dude. He was awesome though. 2x plus 3. That's an ugly x, ain't it? Let's try that again. Okay, and if we did this right, it should FOIL back, right? So what's x times the 2x?
2x squared.
2x squared. Okay, x times 3 gives you 3x. 1 times 2x gives you 2x. 3x plus 2x gives you?
5x.
Hey, we're looking good. What's 1 times 3?
3.
Alright, here we go. Let's see. Multiply number on the first one. Listen, quiet. 7 times 4 gives you? 28. Your add number is? 29. Little muscles. What two numbers multiply to 28 and add to 29?
28 and 1.
Good. 28 and 1. Alright, you take 7, put them underneath each one like that. 28 sevenths reduces down to? 4. And then the 7 here, you take from the bottom and move it up. 7x plus 1. Okay? Once you get it, it's actually a fairly simple process. Okay? The way these get harder is honestly the numbers change. All right, Paget. All right, now for the last one, the second one up here. 6x squared plus 22x minus 8. I put this one on the same slide on purpose. All right? Does anybody notice something about it?
One's negative and
Mr. Miller.
one's negative.
It's a negative. Okay. So that changes that changes our signs. Right? Makes one positive, one negative, right? What else? Anybody notice anything about the numbers? They are all even. See that? 6, 22, and 8. Okay? So those of you that worked this out, when you did your reducing step and you got your answer, what happened? Because this worked out, right? Okay. It reduced to something that wouldn't FOIL back to what you started with, correct? Okay. There's a reason for that. What does 6, 22, and negative 8 all have in common? They're even, which means you can what? False. Not an equation. You cannot divide by 2. You can factor out a 2. GCF.
Good job.
Okay? A GCF. You take a 2 out of all 3. Paget.
This is only when they're all 3.
Or they all 3 have or some number common. So like say it was 6, 9, and 12. You could take a 3 out. Okay? Stuff like that. You have to pay attention. One of the things that I found in my years and years of doing this, in my years and years and years, there we go, of doing this, is that GCFs get forgotten about. So there you have to check them first, every single time. So 6, 22, and negative 8 each have a 2 in it. You take it out. Now, you factor all of that. And you factor that according to your bottoms-up method. So you multiply 3 and negative 4 to give you negative 12. Your add number is 11. So what two numbers multiply? To negative 12, add to positive 11. X plus 12, x minus 1. And the 2 what? What happens to this 2 right here? It just goes down. Remember that GCF factor. Remember lesson 5, last lesson before your first test? That GCF just tags along. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Now, what was your A? Remember you had to finish this factoring right here. What was the A you used for this factoring? This one. 3. That's the other tricky part. You don't go to this A, you go to the A you used it with. Make sense? So 3 goes underneath each of these. Reduce and move up as you would. Factor 2, x plus 4, 3x minus 1. Multiply numbers what? 60. Your add number is? Negative 17. Okay, so your sign switch, right? You have the back side being a plus. So that means you have to multiply to a positive, add to a negative. So both signs are going to be what? Negative. So x minus. See that? All right. So what two numbers multiply to 60 and add to 17? 12 and 5. All right. 3 is your A, so you put 3 underneath each. So x minus 4. And then 3x minus 5. All right, second one. GCF out of there is what? 5. Okay, which leaves you with a 2y squared minus 7y plus 6. There we go. Okay, multiply number, add number. Multiply is 12, add is negative 7. So what two numbers multiply to 12? Add to 7. Negative 3, negative 4. And this is the part you got to be careful with. The A that you use from that factoring is what? 2. Not 10, 2. Okay. So 5, move it up, 2y minus 3, y minus 2. Okay. A person throws a ball upward from a 506-foot tall building. The ball's height, h, in feet after t seconds is given by the equation h equals negative 16t squared plus 48t plus 506. The ball lands on a balcony that is 218 feet above the ground. How many seconds was the ball in the air? Okay. Now, this 506 right here. Yeah, let's talk about these types of problems. This 506 right here. What do you do with it? Nothing. Because this 506 that you're standing on the building is taken care of right here in this equation. See that? Okay. Now, what number do you care about besides the equation itself? 218. Because 218 is your what? It's your h. Okay, 218 is your h. All right. So to solve this, and we're looking for what? What are we looking for?
How many seconds?
Which is a unit of time. So we're looking for t, right? Okay. So to solve this, we got to figure out what t is. Okay. So here we go. 218 equals negative 16 t squared plus 48t plus 506. It's a quadratic equation, so it has to equal what? 0. Okay, and I'm picky with this. You can get away with this without doing it this way. I always like my a to be positive, so I'm going to add this 16t squared and move it to the right. And because of that, I'm going to move everything else to the right, or to the left, I mean, also, from the right to the left. Okay? So I'm going to add 16t squared. I'm going to subtract 48t. And I'm going to do 218 minus 506 to give me negative 288, set equal to 0. All right, now, what do you do next? Let's see. What do you do next? Okay, hold on. I heard solve, which is the generic answer. Okay, I'm wondering how it would go. Okay, I heard someone say combine like terms. There's no like terms up there. Okay.
You gotta add your 288 to 0. GCF.
Okay, let's do a GCF. Okay, let's do a GCF. But here's the difference. Here's the difference. Okay, listen. Here's the difference. Earlier, when we did a GCF, we were doing a what? It's an E word. We were working with a expression. We were working with an expression. And when you work with expressions, you have to make sure that you have the same expression line after line, just looks different, right? Make sense? We go from this trinomial to a factored form of that trinomial. You just change the way it looks. Okay? You're not changing what it actually is, you just change the way it looks. It's like when you guys dye your hair. You look different, but you're still you, right? Here, this is at what? We're trying to do what?
Change the meaning.
We're trying to solve an equation. And when you try to solve an equation, your end goal is to solve for the variable, in this case, t. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. Okay? So, what is the GCF between 1648 and 288? Bigger. 16. 16. Okay? So, I'm going to divide both sides of my equation by 16. And when I divide the left side by 16, that means this 16 goes into this one, and this one. All right. 16 divided by 16 gives me 1. Minus, what's 48 divided by 16? Minus 3t. 288 divided by 16. Negative 18. What's 0 divided by 16? 0. So now you want to factor t squared minus 3t minus 18 equals 0. T minus 6. T plus 3 equals 0. Split them off, right? Move them to the other side. So t equals 6. T equals negative 3. So now answer the question. How long was the ball in the air?
6 seconds.
6 seconds. What do you do with the negative 3? You forget about it. Because time cannot be negative. All right. Your homework for the weekend. Page 513, 10 through 15, 23 through 28. That's good. Just stop our homework. Awesome. Thank you.
And then